Welcome back to the Neutral Zone. As we get into week one, we are going to be previewing the Colorado versus North Dakota State game. But before we break into this preview, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give us the love and support that we want to give you guys back, so you guys can be tuned in anytime we post a video. We're going to be doing this all season long. We have a live video this weekend. Probably do one. What are we looking at, before and after the game? You want to do a preview one? So one before the games on Friday, and then after the games, breaking them down. So please rock with us. We appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown us over the years. But with that being said, Steven, what's your thoughts on Colorado and North Dakota State?
So obviously this is year 2 of the Deion. I'm not going to call it experiment. I'm going to give a much more respect to that. The Deion era. The Deion era.
Okay.
Obviously going 4-8 last year, I felt like was underwhelming. That might be a unpopular opinion, but the only reason why I feel like it's underwhelming is because you started off 3-0. So I think that you should have finished with more than one win of your last 9 games. But we're at a new season now. You play North Dakota State, obviously one of the better lower programs that are not in the Division I level. I mean, Division I AA, whatever you want to call them. But I think North Dakota State's a very disciplined team. I think, since they've had Carson Wentz, they've been a very, very good team. They had Trey Lance, obviously, after that. So I do think this is going to be a tough test. But I really like the spread on this game at 9.5. I would be very, very surprised if Colorado doesn't win this game very convincingly. And I also want to say, I know a lot of people are trying to kind of put out the narrative that, well, it's a tough opponent. So, and I feel like it's to kind of big up North Dakota State. So when Colorado beats them, it's like, let's go, they're 1-0. But at the end of the day, I do think Colorado is a far more talented team than North Dakota State is. And I don't want Colorado to lose this game. I'm actually going to bet the spread for them to cover. But I do think what's going to happen in this game, I think Deion Sanders is going to be far too much for the Bison. And I think the running back core in Colorado is going to look a lot better this year. I think Deion's going to, put a more concerning effort to run the ball early in games. So Shadur is not banged up towards the back end trying to win the game in a shootout. Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, LeJontay Wester. You bring the guy over from Vanderbilt as well. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but you bring him over. So I think there's going to be a really good receiving corps. And I could also go on a limb and say this may be one of the best receiving corps in the Big 12. I think that's an argument there.
Will Shepard is the guy from Vanderbilt.
Will Shepard, that's right. So I think this could be a really good receiving corps, and it could be the best receiving corps in the Big 12, the best pass attack, if you want to put it that way, with Shadur being a top 5 quarterback. But really, I think it's going to come down to the run game. I think the run game is going to have to show that it can be dominant against a lesser opponent, because of their 12 games, this is probably one of the worst 3 or 4 opponents they're going to play this year. And North Dakota State's not a really bad team, but I don't think they're as talented as Colorado is. So I do like Colorado in this game. If I had to give a score prediction, I'll give it at the end of the video, but I don't anticipate this game being close. I don't know how the spread is this close. I understand Colorado didn't look great last year, but this is still a talented team. I think Shadur still has another year of offseason being at the Division I level. Travis Hunter is more experienced. You bring back Jimmy Horn. Obviously, Shiloh, Levante Bentley comes back. So I just think the defense is going to be, they're more experienced. The offensive line should be better. Again, emphasis on should. And then I think, the receiving core, you pretty much bring everyone back beside Xavier Weaver. So I think this is going to be a lopsided game.
Yeah, so a couple of things that concern me. North Dakota State, again, like you've mentioned, has been perennially good at the FCS level. This is a team that went 11-4 last year. The problem and my concern with Colorado, remember I said I had them as one of my overrated teams this year. I jumped on the hype train last year somewhat, but you are bringing in 5 new offensive linemen to replace what was an abysmal offensive line last year. I think the weapons are there, and I think you mentioned them all. The weapons are there. But can you keep Shadur upright? He is probably a top 5, probably a top 3 quarterback in college football this year. But the problem was he was running for his life last year. He was absolutely running for his life last year. Now, I like what they have in the running back room. It looks like they're going to start that Charlie Offerdahl. But I like Dallin Hayden, obviously an Ohio State guy. So him transferring over, I seen what he could do at Ohio State. Still a young guy that I think is dynamic. So I think the run game is going to be fine if the offensive line is good. I don't know a ton about North Dakota State, But I know, again, that this was 11-4 team that has been perennially good. I don't think, and just like you said, I don't think that they necessarily have the talent that Colorado has. Again, when you talk about some of that top end talent, Travis Hunter, Shador, Shiloh, we can go down the list. And I think you mentioned most of the great players that Colorado has. My concern for Colorado is in the trenches. Now, I think this line is going to be better than last year. I don't think they could be much worse. The question is how much better. I don't think that's going to fully show this game. I think, like you mentioned, this is probably not the defensive line that is going to really stress test that offensive line. So I believe they'll get through this game okay. But my concern is when you get into Big 12 play, when you're playing the Utahs and some of those other Big 12 teams with D1 defensive linemen, can they hold up? I don't think you replace 5 offensive linemen and everything just goes okay. I don't think this is just understand they got Seton, but that's a freshman. That is a freshman. Again, big time prospect. But we've seen many big time prospects where it didn't translate on a college football field. Seton was the biggest guy on the field many a times that he played in high school. That's not going to be the case in college. He's playing other, and I'm not going to say grown men, but young men who've been in weight training programs who are just as big, strong, and fast as him. So can he hold up in college football at a high level? We'll see. I have hopes. I'm not going to say high hopes. I have hopes, and I'm going to keep those kind of in due bounds. With this being a bowl team this year, I think North Dakota State at their level are probably going to be a really good team again. They bring back their starting quarterback, Cam Miller. They bring back some running backs. I don't know how you say this guy's name, Baraka something. So they're bringing back some talent as well. I just don't think that guy for guy they can match up with a Colorado. When they go back to the Division II level, I think they're going to dominate. I think this game will be closer. I'll say closer. I know you mentioned an 8-point spread. I think maybe 2. Okay, so I think maybe we're talking about a 2-touchdown game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout, but I hope to see a blowout. I hope to see Colorado. Deion Sanders is saying all the right things, that everything seems to be fixed, but I think every coach says that in the preseason. I would love to see them look really good from the onset, and this be a really good season for Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest key factor for Colorado in this game is kind of I think it's going to be a flip. Last year, Colorado had the same, if not better, the same type of starting talent as every other team in the Pac-12, but they didn't have the depth. I think it flip-flops in this game. I think not that North Dakota State has the same starting talent, but I think Colorado is going to have the depth. And I don't think North Dakota State is going to I don't think North Dakota's third string, defensive ends and running backs are going to be as good as the third string defensive end and running back for Colorado, especially in year 2 of this rebuild. It's not like this is the first game under the Deion era. He's, brought in more guys. He's brought in more transfers. He's built up the guys that he had from last year. So I do like them a little bit more than I did last season, obviously. Naturally, I think it's going to be a progression. In this game, I'm going to say 45-28 Colorado. I think they win by 17. And I could honestly see more. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though, because we saw the Colorado defense could not stop a nosebleed last year. But I also think this offense is going to have its way with North Dakota State. I would be shocked if they don't score more than 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Shador attempt to put his name in that. And you got to remember, there's some people that are playing for some big things, right? For all the hype that Travis Hunter got last year, I don't necessarily think he has the numbers to back that up. Now, it doesn't mean that the talent didn't pop. Obviously, there were injuries that played a part in that. But I think, especially as we talk about him now being draft eligible at the end of the season, he really wants to pop. I think Shador wants to be in that Heisman race and wants to pop as a prospect and be the number 1 quarterback, which I think is kind of wide open. I know there's a couple names being thrown around, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck. I think he wants to be the first quarterback off the board, and it starts with having a dominant game here. If you can't have a dominant game against North Dakota State, this might spell doom for Colorado. So I'm going to go, I said 14. I'm going to go 42-28. I think, again, this defense isn't necessarily there yet. I think North Dakota State is able to move the ball a little bit. But like you said, I think just the big guns are just a little bit too much, and I think they're able to wear them down. I hope this offensive line can hold up and look really good against North Dakota State.
Let us know in the comment section what you guys think about this North Dakota State-Colorado matchup. Obviously, the first real good game outside of Georgia Tech, Florida State we got last week, but the first good game of week 1 that we're getting on Thursday, which is tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and upload this video today, Wednesday the 28th. We do have a live show on Friday evening. It'll be sometime between 8 and 9 Eastern, give or take. So keep an eye on that. We'll upload the thumbnail and the link for that so you guys can go ahead and share that, as well as turn your notifications on so you don't miss that. We're going to be previewing all of the week 1 games.
Man, I'm excited.
Yeah, very excited. It was a quick offseason this time around, I feel like. So
I think the Olympics really helped. I think the Olympics made this offseason so much better because you normally have that lull after NBA where baseball's kind of king, but that kind of got filled with the Olympics, which made this offseason better.
Definitely. So let us know what you guys think. As always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. We appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you guys Friday during the live show. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.